game with my folks. 101 down the west side. Smoking cookies, get the best high. I'm from the west side, west side, west side, west side. I'm from the west side, west side, west side, west side. I'm from the Bay, but I may be in LA. I made it out the hood, so back and forth is where I stay. West side on a weird nigga. And if you're scared to come around, I'm real good niggas. Rude boys, nappy heads, pull real triggers. You know the Bay is known for running around with real killers. I go down for my real niggas in the O. Take it to the 80s, back to the point, yo. Real shit, but I ain't got that club.
Hello y'all, welcome to my channel. First of all, disclaimer, every time y'all get this, it's going to be in real life places, because right now I'm charging my car. I have an electric vehicle, so right now I'm charging my car, so I'm gonna be talking to you all over the place. When I'm getting up in the morning, when I'm washing clothes, eating food, y'all gonna get real raw uncut stuff, and then you know you'll get some shit with background and shit. But welcome to the House of Jenore. My name is Jenore. That's why it's called the House of Jenore, because it's my page and it's my shit. So welcome to the House of Jenore. This is where you get to know me, get to, you know, see all my videos, listen to all my music, behind the scenes stuff, and then also get a journey of this life that I'm living right now. A lot of artists always be asking me like, how you be able to move and travel from different places to go do your thing? I'm gonna tell you how, and as I tell you my story about how I've gotten to where I've gotten to now, and the regular real life struggles of, you know, being an artist and having to try to deal with real life shit and try to live with regular bills and all that, and include that with music stuff. So along the lines, you'll get a little sneak peek of how I did certain stuff. But first, I gotta let you get to know me first. So again, my name is Siani Jenore Marie Hill, born in the great state of California, born in the great city of San Francisco, California, 415, you feel me? The neighborhood I grew up in was called Hunters Point. It's still there. I don't know why I said was. It's still there. The neighborhood I grew up is San Francisco Hunters Point, 3rd and McKinnon to be exact. We call it the Flats. The top of Hunters Point is called either up top. So that's what we know. That's how you know the difference between 3rd and the Flats and Hunters Point up top. You know what I'm saying? But I was born and raised over there, and then, you know, around 3rd grade is when we moved to this area called Pittsburgh, which is 45 minutes outside of San Francisco. I'm not talking about Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I'm talking about Pittsburgh, California, if you know what I'm talking about. So, you know what I'm saying, from, you know, 3rd grade on out until high school, that's where I was. And, you know, my grandmother, backstory to her, she was hood rich. My grandmother, her name is Dorothy Kennedy, and I'm still say her, yet not was, but her, because she right here. You know, my grandmother's name is Dorothy Kennedy, grandfather Emmett Kennedy, and they had their own little empire in San Francisco. My grandmother was the first black woman to open up a gas station and a laundromat. And then my grandmother and grandfather had 2 apartment buildings. They also had a nightclub underneath one of the apartment buildings where like BB King, Jackson 5 slid through. I guess that's where the music stuff come from for me, because my grandfather was a jazz player. And he played the saxophone. But they owned that. Also owned a liquor store called Kennedy's Liquors, which was a legendary store in the hood. You know what I'm saying? It's still there, but we don't have it no more. I don't know what they turned it into. I think it's like a thrift shop or some bullshit. I don't know. But yeah, we ended up losing our property due to some bullshit. My mom was trying to do some stuff and ended up working with some crooked people, and we lost our property. But majority of the people that was in San Francisco, you know what I'm saying, they didn't moved out because it got too expensive. So only people that's really living in Hunters Point is either they live in the projects that's been redone, or generational housing, or Section 8. The rest of these motherfuckers and the rest of us have moved either to, you know, Sacramento, Stockton, Pittsburgh, Concord, shit, Vallejo, Pinole, Hercules. We didn't got spread it out at Hunters Point, but shout out to the people that's still there holding strong. And Hunters Point, I know there's a lot of people that don't know what Hunters Point is in San Francisco, because when y'all think of San Francisco, y'all think of Golden Gate Bridge, Alcatraz, all that shit. It's great. Beautiful city from the outside, but once you get in that bitch, is a dirty motherfucker. But people like Larry June, I know a lot of artists and a lot of people listen to Larry June. Larry June is from my neighborhood. He's from Hunters Point. RBL Posse came out of Hunters Point. There's a lot of dope artists that are legendary that it came out of the point. So you know what I'm saying, I want to be the next one with the R&B shit, because there's nobody that I know of in my mind from my area that has came out of the music thing doing R&B. I know from the city, but I don't know from like the point. So, but backstory again. Yeah, so my grandmother stayed in the city. She was hood rich, so I was going back and forth from the hood to back home, and I was a ball player. Cliche. But for real, I was a ball player. I played basketball, but music was always like my thing. Like secretly, like I would secretly be in my room throwing my own concerts, like using the vacuum cleaner as like a stand-up mic and shit like that. Like, and this is when LimeWire and Napster was out, so I was downloading songs and shit and pretending like I was the person performing them and shit. Like, I really was like into music deeply. Shout out to my mama, because she played the slapping shit, so I kind of got influenced that way. But like, I was like a secret like artist like my whole life, but basketball was my thing, you know what I'm saying? I was in choir. I did choir in junior high and high school. Advanced choir. Was in a gospel group called Sanctified Phase 2. One of my good friends from school, his name is Matthew Nuss. He ended up on American Idol, and now he's doing his thing too. So, you know what I'm saying? You know, I was in the mix with the music, but not that much when growing up. Then I went to college, you know what I'm saying? Played ball in college for a little bit, and once I got on my own, it was a wrap. I stopped going to school. Just was doing bullshit. Just doing bullshit. Partying. I was in LA, so you know what I'm saying? I'm partying. I'm coming out, learning about myself, because then my mom didn't know I was gay then, but I was going to West Hollywood, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to the people who know about West Hollywood, going to Mickey's and the Abbey, and going to the Catch, you know what I'm saying? I was doing shit like that, you know, undercover on the low. But then my granny passed away, so then I had to move back home. My mom was like, bitch, you're bullshitting, so bring that ass back home. And then my grandmother was sick, and then she passed away, so I ended up coming back home. When I came out, it wasn't like I got a chance to come out, because I was secretly like gay, and I didn't tell my mom. So I was like going out with friends, and like changing my clothes when I got back home, so she didn't see that I was a stud and stuff like that. Like, she didn't really know too much about me like that, because growing up I was really around my grandmother and my godmother a lot, because my mom worked and she was out doing her thing, you know what I'm saying? So she had a lot of help, so she was able to still, you know, party, work, and still be there as a mom and do her thing. So, you know what I'm saying? Once my grandmother passed away, it was just like, I gotta get used to this lady now. So we had our little spits and battles, and when I came out, she wasn't fucking with it. She got mad or whatever, you know what I'm saying? And I was going back and forth from LA, like kicking it and hanging with, like, living with college friends, because, you know what I'm saying, she didn't want me around like that. But all of them to say, me and mom are great now. That's my nigga. It was a lot. We went through a lot to get to where we at right now, but I'm glad we are. You know what I'm saying? But then the music thing came around really when me and her weren't talking so much. I went to audio engineering school. Shout out to SAE. And was living at my grandmother's house that she left after she passed away. And when I was there, I started kicking it with a lot of the neighborhood, like the neighborhood friends back in the point, because I moved back to my grandmother's house that was in Hunters Point. When me and my mom wasn't too cool, so she was staying where she stayed at, and I stayed where my grandmother's at. So I ended up gaining a lot of like cool friends, and like they ended up turning into family. And you know, I started going to audio engineering school and learning how to make beats and stuff, because I always wanted to get into it. I technically didn't want to be an artist. I didn't want to be a solo artist, which is weird because look where I am now. But it was weird. I wanted to be in the background. I wanted to be the manager. So that's how I kind of wanted to start stuff. And there's some folks in my neighborhood that was rapping and doing music. And I had a friend that was dating this girl that was friends with a girl that I was dating. His name is Mozzie. Shout out to Mozzie. Mozzie is the one that introduced me to everybody that was doing the rapper shit in the point. And he introduced me to my homeboy, my brother Grapes, who I started this music shit with, and still love him to this day for this shit. And he's still a rider to this day. And he introduced me to Grapes. Grapes is the most lyricist rapper in the point. I don't give a what nobody say. Nobody can outright Grapes. That boy is a magician with a pen. Okay, y'all make sure y'all go follow him, the dopest, on Instagram, and go check out his music. So we started doing stuff. I started making beats. They would come over and start rapping. And you know, I made a little makeshift studio at my grandmother's house in the living room. So they would come over and they would just start putting shit excuse me, on the mic. And so I was kind of like trying to be like the manager. And so I started my own label called Dope vs. Fresh. So Dope vs. Fresh was like the neighborhood label. So I ended up like getting more neighborhood like folks to come over and start coming to my grandmother's house, it was pink, so we call it the Pink House. Which you'll see pictures and stuff of and shit like that. But yeah, and we just started doing music and stuff. I started linking up with more people that did music. Shout out to D-Boy, shout out to Murder, you know what I'm saying? So they had their own little rap group called Tri Squad. I had a lot of people who are up and now, like in the point, like Prezi came to my house one time to do some stuff with Grapes. This was back when like the Cusada niggas was having like, they had their own little rap group that was popping, and like music was popping, like had their own little cliques and rap cliques and shit back in the point. So that was back then and shit. And you know what I'm saying? I used to have little parties at my granny house and stuff like that when the Kirkwood niggas, and these people that I'm saying right now, these are like different like neighborhood cliques. So like the Kirkwood niggas would come over and come chill. You know what I'm saying? I had my best friend that lived with me. Shout out to Kazani. He was staying with me for a while, and and that was my ride or die. So basically I started a music label called Dope vs. Fresh. Had some neighborhood folks. We had a beat maker, shout out to motherfucking Boog, shout out to Cozy, you know what I'm saying? We had a whole line of people up in there, really like a team. Then we started doing shows. I've been started, you know what I'm saying, finding little places where we could do shows, start doing shows in LA, all type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? That's how I kind of started with the music stuff, is starting Dope vs. Fresh with the gang is what got me into the music like professionally. And so one day I was recording Grapes, and he was like, I need you to do this hook on this song. And I'm like, all right, I'll do it, because he knew our song, and I didn't want to really do solo shit. So Grapes was like, get on this hook. So I did it, and he like, you need to be starting to do music on your own. Like, you need to start like actually singing solo shit. So because I was too shy back then to do solo shit, me and Grapes started a group called Rhythm Gang. And so me and him would go places, perform, do shows. We did music videos, all types of shit. Like, we did a lot of shit. You know what I'm saying? A lot of shit. And that's kind of where it all began. And I got some footage and some clips of when we first started actually doing this music shit. And you can check it out right here. That shit. All nighter, baby. Look at this lyrically talented man riding right here.
and concentrating on his work. You know, he's supposed to be looking at music. He's supposed to be studying. And he's supposed to be writing the lyrics.
As you can see, we was really like doing shit. Look at the fucking footage. Look at the way it looked. It's like super old. And we was throwing everything up on YouTube. You see I have the Dope versus Fresh YouTube and everything. And RIP my brother who was locked in with us, who was my family. Shout out to, and RIP to my brother Illy Drees. He was like one of my biggest supporters when it came to Dope versus Fresh, because when I tell you about part 2, Dope versus Fresh became something else, and now once I get to part 2 I tell you that. But he was one of my biggest supporters, like one that was always there. He was going through a lot. I let him sleep in my house, you know what I'm saying. He basically named his son after me, all types of stuff, and he passed away tragically with an overdose. So every time I do this music stuff, I make sure that I do it for him, because again, he was locked in like family. He was one of the biggest supporters I had when it came to this Dope versus Fresh shit, and I will never forget that. Yeah. When that shit happened, it was really hard for all of us. You know, and especially because before he passed away, we kind of got into it. And by the time I left him moved, by the time it was time for me to come back to kind of mend shit better, it was too late. So I kind of sometimes feel guilty that I didn't get to say what I needed to say, or wasn't able to mend shit, or make shit better. And that was my fault with my ego. Back then, I had so much going on that I thought that I was that bitch, and I let a lot of people down, and I hurt a lot of people down that supported me, and I made a couple of people make choices that they didn't have to make on shit that they shouldn't have to make a decision to just to me being who I was back then. So part 2 we'll get to that too. That is a little bit deeper. It's a little bit deeper for the first, you know what I'm saying, video. But we're going to get into it in part 2. But shout out to everybody that is subscribed to my channel. Again, I told you I will be doing this anywhere. Y'all probably going to see me at work doing another video too. So make sure y'all tap in and tune in. Make sure y'all subscribe, bitch. Make sure y'all subscribe to the House of Jenore. This is vlog 1 of this journey and how I got to where I am now. Hopefully this will be inspiration to a lot of people again. You know what I'm saying? It's been almost 15 years. I started this shit in 2011. So I might have counted that. I could have counted that. But it's a long time. 2011 to 2025, it's a long time. 14 years, something like that. I don't know. I'm not good with math, unfortunately. When I get rich, I'm getting an account. But yeah, make sure y'all tune in. Check out those music videos. My music is on all digital outlets. Also, make sure y'all go and follow the Jenore brand on Instagram and grab these wonderful shirts and these merch that I have. I got some other stuff coming right now, so make sure y'all pre-order and get what you need right now. See ya!